Tiger fans, time for a fitness update, given that I jinxed the bloody thing last night. Well, not just me, all three of us did. I think we're all at fault here in relation to using the I word, which has now succumbed Josh Smiley to a hamstring issue, which will see him out for, well, TBC, to be honest. They reckon it was just very, very minor, though, so they're not actually sure how he did it or when it was hurt during training or anything like that, but it seems like they're going to take a bit more of a conservative approach and really work on the athleticism and getting him back into condition to be able to train and handle the workload again of VFL, AFL football. So not good there, and we take some responsibility for that, for the words that we used on the show. But we obviously wish Smiley a quick recovery because, we're obviously all very, very eager and keen to see him play. But I think this is just a little bit of a byproduct of such a big young kid getting used to his body size and the rigors of VFL/AFL football. So definitely let's just give him time, and he will come through this on the other side all fine, and we can't wait to see him back out there. But to the rest of the fitness report that just dropped from the club, some really, really exciting news. Mckelty Lafau is a test. So Serpil said he's happy to say that he just has to get through one more session, and Mckelty will be available for selection this week if he gets through, which would be unbelievable. So we'll be getting a bit of game time, which is exciting, which will obviously be at VFL level. You're not going to put him straight back into the AFL system, but he's been doing a power of work like we've seen on videos for a little while now. He's been the most advanced out of all of the ACL crew. But yeah, very excited to see Mckelty play. It strengthens our VFL forward line, and look, we might only see him for 2 quarters like we did for Juddy Clark on his return, but a very, very welcomed addition, and I dare say they'll be gearing him up to make a return to AFL football in the next few weeks. Tyler Young, 1 to 3 weeks away. He's probably about a week behind Mckelty, Serpil said. He's excited as well, obviously, Tyler, and to get back out there and play football. And again, so in the space of 2 or 3 weeks, we're bringing back a key forward and a key defender, which, if nothing else, is going to strengthen our VFL side for the short term, and then cause some real selection issues at AFL level and competition for spots, which is a good thing. So all the best to Tyler Young in these last couple of weeks of his recovery. And he's obviously doing bulk of the drills now at pretty much full tilt. So good to see him almost back out there playing footy again. Samson Ryan, 1 to 2 weeks, progressing well. So we'll see him back in the VFL fighting for AFL spots shortly. Kalina, 1 to 3 weeks with the knee, doing well, expecting him to be available for selection in another week or two after this week. Dion Prestia, Achilles, 1 to 3 weeks. Exciting to say, contrary to previous weeks, that we can actually bring his timeline earlier, Serpil said. We're hoping to see him out there in the next 1 to 3 weeks. He's been training well and been pulling up relatively pain-free. This is a really, really interesting one because, EJ had the text come through on Monday night in regards to Dion Prestia that someone with pretty good connections had heard that there's maybe another conversation being had about the future of Dion in regards to mid-season picks and things like that. But the club, again, have really reduced the timeline. So who knows what's at play here. I mean, look, I want it to be on his terms, whether it's now, whether it's end of the year, whatever it might be. I've got no doubt that he and the club will make the right call one way or another. But good to see he's tracking well. I just don't know how to take that report on Dion, to be honest, but we'll see how it goes. Tash Hotton, ACL, 6 to 9 weeks. Not really a huge update from previous weeks, Serpil said. We still think he'll be back in 6 to 9 weeks at this stage. But again, he is going to be more and more involved in footy drills over the next little while, which is good. We'll see him in a non-contact hat for a bit, and then we'll take the non-contact hat off him and get him involved, get him amongst it. Harry Armstrong, 7 to 12 weeks. Similar to Hotton, not too much of an update there. He's progressing really well, getting a mountain of work done from a running perspective at this point in time. So that's really good to hear that he's obviously coping with the workloads in his recovery phase. And Josh Gibkus now has a time frame, 7 to 10 weeks for Josh. Really excited to say that we can put a time frame on Josh Gibkus, Serpil said. So we expect him out there in the next 7 to 10 weeks. And I think anyone out there watching his training at the moment will see he is actually involved in a lot of footy drills at the moment, which we have said a few times. He's working at a relatively high intensity, so we will get a bit of work into him over the next little while and look forward to seeing him out there playing later this year. And Smiley we touched on at the start, a TBC. But for Armstrong, Hotton and Gibkiss, super, super good news. I know a lot of people have been a little bit on edge about the Josh Gibkiss one. And you can just tell they're easing him into it, just making sure that he's going to get through it okay and recover after the 2 major surgeries on one side of his body. So good to see him progressing his training load. All right, so I thought I'd actually put together a bit more of a list on how this looks in relative terms in terms of our season, how long's left to go when we'll see some of these players. So starting with Tash Hotton, 6 to 9 weeks in terms of his recovery time until he's playing footy again. That takes us to about round 16 or 17 possibly of the AFL season. Now, I'm not at all suggesting he's going to come back and play AFL in round 16 or 17, but whatever the VFL equivalent at the time is, that's where we'll be at for the AFL segment of our season. So still a little bit of footy left to play, but yeah, that's where he'll be at. Armstrong, 7 to 10 weeks will take him to about round 17, round 18 as a possible return date. Again, it'll be at the VFL equivalent, whatever they're at the time. But in terms of the AFL, we'll be at around 17, 18. And Josh Gibkus, 7 to 10 weeks, same as Armstrong, looking at about round 17/18, when we might see a possible return to some sort of footy in some capacity. So based on that, I'm kind of saying or thinking that they'd have to try and play at least 3, maybe 4 VFL games because they're going to progress through. You've got to get their fitness up. And maybe I'm cutting it a little bit fine here, even with my projections. But for Hotton and Gibkus, I would love for them to aim for around 22, 23, 24 AFL games. Maybe around 23 and 24 is more realistic because they've got to get some body of work and fitness up and obviously find form too. Like, it's got to be warranted, I guess, as well. It would just be nice to give Hotton a taste of AFL this year, just as a bit of a reward for effort, I guess, for doing his rehab program and just show the support we're giving him. And Gibkus, I think it would just be great for him and the supporters to see him out there playing AFL football again. And I think these 2 guys will show form in the VFL very quickly once their fitness is back. So yeah, I'm eyeing off rounds 22, 23, and 24 for them. And for Harry Armstrong could possibly look maybe at a stretch around 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. But maybe it's more likely to be from 21 onwards. So a few less weeks. Obviously, he's already had the taste of AFL. No doubt he'll have to do a smallish stint at VFL. And by then, we've got Jonty Fallen at the moment. Sims is in at the moment. They might have had a big enough stint and they might be a bit cooked, and it could be a good time to swap him back out and put a fresh Harry Armstrong back in. So it could actually work in his favour a little bit in terms of players coming in and out. But yeah, the last 4 or 5 weeks of our season, I'm hoping we'll see some of these names playing AFL football, just to see what the mix is like, what the blend's like, how it all goes, and just to get that exposure. And Lafau, like we said before, Lafau, I think will be back in the seniors within about a month. Juddy Clark's still doing some really good work. He'll be bashing down the door soon as well. It's a really interesting position, isn't it, where we've only won the 3 games. We're in a really big transitional period with our football, but yet we're going to have a heap of selection headache issues very, very shortly in a good way. Don't underestimate what competition for spots can do for you and extracting some better performances out of everybody. So can only be a good thing. But there you go. That is the fitness report for tonight officially. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you keen to see these? Are you happy for Hotton and Gibkus to get AFL games at the end of this year? Or would you rather them just wrapped up in cotton wool and unleash them next year? I can see the arguments from both sides, but keen to hear all of your thoughts. Let us know in the comments. And again, we apologise wholeheartedly for using the I word on last night's show. And hopefully we see Josh Smiley back out on the track in the VFL shortly, and then then into the AFL hopefully soon too. So have a wonderful evening, everybody, and we'll see you for the next one. Go Tigers.